Don't need much of a better intro than that. What's up, everybody? Welcome to another video here at the Dog Pound. I am M-Dog, and we are here today again at the beautiful Bridgeville Rifle and Pistol Club in Bridgeville, Delaware. I'm going to change things up a little bit today. I actually probably broke my own little protocol about things I do when I try to do videos. But I actually had to make some cheat notes. So if you see me moving around, I wrote some things down that I kind of wanted to share with you guys. And I wanted to make sure that I didn't forget them. So if you hear me rustling around or see me, messing with paper, that's what it is. My cheat notes. I'm not too ashamed, or not too ashamed to admit my shortcomings when it comes to being in front of the camera, especially when this is going to be a little bit of an emotional video for me. So first and foremost, I'm gonna share something with you guys today it's very sentimental, near and dear to my heart. It is one of my very first memories that I had that started my love for firearms. It was the first time I'd ever heard the words Smith & Wesson. It was the first time that I had ever laid eyes on an all-black semi-automatic pistol. That was pretty special to say, especially as a young kid. I try not to get too nostalgic or emotional when I do these videos, because of course we do them to bring, other firearms and shooting enthusiasts a fun, somewhat informative, an uplifting platform where we can all share our opinions and our experiences. I mean, that's what we do. But when it comes to today's showcase firearm, I need to take you guys for a trip down memory lane, and so that you fully understand my connection with this particular firearm. Maybe it'll shed a little light on why I believe so strongly in keeping family and those who are closest to you involved with the sport of shooting, hunting, fishing, whatever it is that that brings you together. Makes memories that outlive us all, and they become stories that are passed down to those that we leave behind. So I'll start off by saying, let me take you back to the year 1979. There was this little store in the town of Laurel, Delaware, which is my hometown, where I grew up. And at that little store, I believe it was known as Taylor's Hardware. I can't swear to that because I know it's a little hardware store, but I believe it was called Taylor's Hardware in Laurel, Delaware. Back then you could purchase firearms in hardware stores. I mean, it was just, if you wanted to purchase a hedge trimmer and a firearm, you could do that in 1979. I know I'm telling my age here, but, trip down memory lane, folks. So I went to this store with my mom in October of '79, and I had just turned 6 years old. I mean, literally a hot minute of being 6 years old. Birthday's in September. So my dad, who was an avid collector, he enjoyed firearms. He'd been wanting a new semi-automatic handgun, and he was familiar with Smith & Wesson from his days in the Army, and his love of John Wayne, I guess John Wayne probably, his love of John Wayne movies, who was Charles Bronson, of course Clint Eastwood. I mean, who everybody hears Clint Eastwood and you automatically think Smith & Wesson. So the old Dirty Harry movies. My dad was a combat veteran from the Korean War conflict, and he spent a lot of time over in Asia. Well, this hardware store had just received a brand new Smith & Wesson, Model 59, chambered in 9mm. She bought that gun and planned on surprising Dad that year for Christmas. And I remember as a 6-year-old child, I was excited, and I couldn't wait to see my dad's face when he opened up that gift on Christmas morning. Mom, she even got creative with wrapping it up. I remember she had an overabundance of boxes. I think there was 8 of them. So we had 8 boxes to wrap Dad's Smith & Wesson pistol up in. The biggest box was a box that came with a full-size 25-inch floor model TV. And if anybody that can remember that, things were huge. I mean, literally, they were almost like a table, just sat, living room floor. The old, little kids back then, there was no remote control. Your mom or your pop would go, hey, go turn it on this channel. Well, we were the remote controllers. We'd go over there, click, 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 and that's, I think there was 16, 28, and 47, if we were lucky. And if we couldn't get the stations in correctly, we're standing up there with a tinfoil on our head and moving the rabbit ear antennas. But another story. So she fully gift wrapped each 8 of those boxes, stuffed them full of newspapers, and until Dad finally made it down to the hard case that housed Dad's new handgun. This was on Christmas morning, and money was hard to come by back then, so this was a huge surprise for Dad. He never expected that. I think Mom paid around $250, if I can remember correctly. Dad treasured that gun, and he would use it to teach me about gun safety and how to care for a firearm. We would occasionally take time to shoot it, but just honestly, it was just to field strip it and clean it again. It didn't matter to me though, because it was time that I was spending with Dad. And that's all that truly mattered to me. Now, we fast forward to 1997. One day, and it was a spring morning, he called me and said he was going to he'd gone to the doctor to find out why he couldn't get rid of a chest cold. He had a chest cold for about a month. And I remember it was the worst phone call that I ever got in my life. Called me up and he says he had cancer, and it was an inoperable cancer. So I remember, excuse me guys, I remember that conversation word for word, like it was stamped into my memory with a branding iron. That was March of '97. And I lost him very quickly to that horrible disease. It was August of the same year. When Dad passed, Dad had 4 items that were his prized possessions. He had a necklace that he had always wore, and he had a pendant. I believe it was an Indian. I believe it was pictured or gold. It was a gold pendant. I believe it was an Indian on it, Indian head chief. We have Native American bloodline, so Cherokee, and I think that's all part of it. So my sister got the necklace. It went to her. She still wears it to this day. A pinky diamond ring that went to my brother, and an M1 carbine 30 cal that he obtained in my dad's very creative way, not incriminating anything. And that Smith & Wesson Model 59 9mm. This very same Model 59 9mm, I also have Dad's M1 carbine, and when I say this Model 59 9mm was my pop's. Still those brand new. And you can see the weapon is safe, but it's a very, very nice, it's got a little decocker right here. I mean, it's an awesome gun. But he had this, and I ended up with this and his 30 cal M1 carbine. And Dad, that M1 carbine that Dad had, that I ended up with, they gave it to me. And that one was made by Winchester. It was issued during the Korean War / conflict, whatever you want to call it. people say, you know, whatever. Not to get too involved in that. I'll be doing a video on the carbine in the very near future, so you guys will get a chance to see that. And I plan on doing that sometime in the next month. And it's a gun that Dad had piece by piece, totally redid, and it's really a nice looking gun. Love shooting that thing. So now you guys may understand why I stress the importance of family, and why I involve my wife Tammy, my daughters, my adopted brothers who occasionally make an appearance here with us. And there are only three things in this life, and I hope you remember this, there's only three things in this life that we can never get back. One is time. You don't get it back when it's gone. Hurtful words after they have already been spoken, and life when it is over. Make the most out of your time you have right now, and you be kind. It don't cost a thing to be kind, and live your life however you see fit. Live your life every day. I want to thank you all for giving me the time so I could share the story with you guys. And again, I apologize for taking up so much of your time just to listen to a personal story of mine. But believe it or not, it helps me to remember and keep a part of my dad with me by sharing it with you guys. So how about we go shoot Dad's gun? And I'm sure he's looking forward to this as well, just as much as we are, because you can feel him here. And anyone who's lost a loved one, and you try to do things that you used to do with them, to remember them, you understand what I'm talking about, because most of us have lost someone, whether it be a parent or whatever. But I don't think there's been more than 3 boxes since 1979 fired through this Model 59. And I plan on adding a couple boxes to it today. So let's go chase one of them elusive splatter dudes that we always talk about. And when we get done with that, we'll come back. I'm gonna start calling this the kennels. So it's corny, but I came up with it, so I like it. We'll go back over the specs of the gun, or the Model 59, when we come back. So again, let's go make some smoke, and we'll see you in a few. All right, we're getting ready to tear up some splatter dudes. So 9mm full metal jacket. These are Winchester. Pardon, it's not the right box. They're Winchester 9mm 115 grain full metal jackets. So we'll run some through it and see what happens. 1979. Okay. First couple mags. We'll load up some more. Let's take a walk, check out the target. So that was 28. The magazines hold 14 rounds. And look at that big old fire. Look at that. That's a nasty. You got him on camera? Good Lord. You let that thing go up your pant leg up here. Whoo-wee. Anyway, back to business. So that's 28 rounds. All in the size of my hand. And we're, I guess, what, 10, 12 yards, something like that. So, but I mean, it's very, very smooth shooting, and the trigger pull is amazing. She's got a very super easy trigger, but it's just so smooth and easy to stay on target because it is a little heavier than the modern Smiths. I think it weighs like 1.7 pounds, 1.3 pounds. So it's a little heavier than your modern Smith. So love the gun. Let's fire some more. Second set of mags. Thing fits so flush. Can you see that? I mean, there's no movement. I mean, it's just very well made. And again, your decocker. So when you got to pull back ready to fire, it's as simple as that. Killed another one of Tammy's Tupperware bowl lids. Tammy did a good job. I'm gonna finish off this last mag, and we'll head back to the kennels for a recap. I think I'll shoot her other Tupperware bowl lid since it's looking awful lonely sitting over there. I want to make sure it's got proper attention. are empty. Look it up. Let's wrap it up. Welcome back, everyone, and I hope you enjoyed that as much as we did bringing it to you. It was a lot of fun taking a trip down memory lane, and could actually feel Pop there with us, and I hope you guys enjoyed that. And I apologize if I got a little sentimental a while ago, but it's gonna happen. But the Model 59 is a classic, but it sure does perform. I mean, it performs like a brand new firearm, and the quality of Smith & Wesson firearms has stood the test of time. So, but let's take a quick look at the specs on the Model 59. It's a double action pistol produced from 1971 to 1982. It will fire in double or single action, and it has a 14 round double stack mag. The weight of it is 1.84 pounds. It is 7.55 inches overall with a 4-inch barrel. And the sight on it has a fixed front sight, where the rear sight you can adjust for windage or elevation. So that's a nice feature too. It's pretty much on. It's stayed that way since 1979. I mean, it's unbelievable. So the Model 59 was tested by the Navy SEALs. This is a fun fact for you that I won't charge you for. Model 59 was tested by the Navy SEALs in 1970 for evaluation in the field, but it wasn't adopted for whatever the reasons. I'm sure you can research that, and it'd probably better explain it to you than me. Like I said, I'm no expert. So it was replaced in 1982 when the second gen series was introduced, and that was the Model 459. There was approximately 231,850 Model 59s produced. So under 250,000 of these Model 59 Smith & Wesson 9mm were produced and released to the civilian market. So, as always, we hope you enjoyed today's review of the Model 59 Smith & Wesson 9mm. I hope that, I don't hope, I thank you guys for allowing me to share some life experience with you. If it helps in any way, shape, or form, then please use it. I want to touch on something, and it's kind of been bugging me. It's, you always get reviews and I get feedback, which please always subscribe to the channel and leave feedback. I love to hear the feedback. We will answer every question. If you have questions, if you have comments, share your experiences. If you have shot the Model 59, if you know someone who has one, or if you have a life experience that, the weapon brings back some good memories for you. But I actually had a reviewer that reached out and was angry at me. I guess because I'm an NRA member. And regardless of how you feel about the NRA is not perfect. And I'm not going to stand here or sit here and tell you guys to join. I'm asking you to do your own research, make up your own minds, and find local organizations. We have one in Delaware. We actually have a couple, but coming to mind, we have DSSA, which is the Delaware State Sportsman Association, and we have DGR, which is the Delaware Gun Rights. Both of them are extremely good groups, and they are constantly at Legislative Hall here in Delaware. Delaware has just passed some draconian, horrible gun laws that was rushed through the General Assembly with no due process whatsoever. So that's in appeals, and that's gonna be whatever it's gonna be. The magazine restriction now here in Delaware. Now, granted, I have an LE background, plus I also have my concealed carry So I'm okay when it comes to that, but the ones who don't have that credentials, it's not fair. It's not fair to them to not be able to. If you can buy a firearm legally, you've got nothing that stops that. It's not the guns that commit the crime. There's a lot of things that are lacking in other areas, except they have nothing to do with purchasing a firearm. It's just so easy for the gun grabbers to go after and attack, the evil gun. But does anybody ban a vehicle for someone who commits a DUI, kills somebody on the street? I mean, it's all horrible, graphic, but it is part of human nature. People are gonna be bad. There's gonna be evil people in this world. And I'm sorry whether you like it or disagree with it, but the only thing that will stop an evil doer has a firearm, because they're not going to stop getting their firearms. The only thing that's going to stop them is someone who is educated, proficient, that is a legal gun owner. That's the only thing that's going to stop them, unfortunately. You're not going to counsel them while they're planning on going and doing a mass shooting or something. That's just not going to happen. And I wish that there would be some common sense put into this, but unfortunately common sense really isn't so common anymore, is it? But the NRA is not perfect, and I don't begrudge anybody for being an NRA member. I am myself. My wife is an NRA member, and they do more good than harm. That's how I look at it. We need everyone in the fight. And it's easy to be critical over an organization, but us as legal gun owners, as gun enthusiasts, firearm enthusiasts, instructors in some cases, we have to protect each other and we have to support each other. So keep that in mind when you look at someone who's an NRA member. At least they're not against the NRA. At least they're not, I'll scratch that. At least they're not a gun grabber. At least they're not so far out that guns are just an evil thing that, causes all kinds of havoc. It's not the gun, it's the people behind the trigger. That's where the focus needs to lie. But whatever you're doing to help defend those freedoms, by all means, man. Nobody's going to give you any hate from here, because that's not what we do. We're here to lift each other up, and we have to be with one another. And whether you like it or not, we are all each other has. We don't need to give the gun grabbers any more ammunition, pun intended, than they already have. So if we're fighting amongst ourselves, the ones who are trying to protect our rights, it's kind of foolish if you think about it, because we're taking away and spending energy that needs to be focused in other areas. So by all means, let be kind to each other, support each other. If you see someone doing something wrong, don't necessarily criticize them or talk bad about them. There's nothing wrong with reaching out and saying, hey, I just saw this, and do you want to try this or maybe try that? That can go a long way sometimes, and you can build really cool relationships. It's just the way it is, man. So just please be positive, and if you get a chance, I'm done talking. So if you get a chance, hit the subscribe button to the channel. Follow us on Facebook at the Dog Pound with M Dog on Facebook. Check out the Bridgeville Rifle and Pistol Club on the website. We got a link in the channel for that. You can, if you're in Delaware, you can look up the DSSA, Delaware State Sportsman Association, see what they've got going on. You can look them up on the web. Support your local mom and pop gun shops, please. They need us right now with the way things are going. Some of them are going out of business, and we've got to do our best to keep them lifted up. So they need your help. They need our help. Let's do that. Always a good shout out to our friends over at Steele's Gun Shop. for everything they do. Anytime I need advice, and I have a few other creators that are out there. Talked to one this morning. I'm not going to name drop him, but he's, I look to him a lot for I had to get him to talk me off a ledge this morning just to answer a question, because I couldn't believe that I was getting the hateful message because I was an NRA member. So you know who you are. I appreciate that advice this morning. So from all of us here at the Dog Pound, you see right there, what's that? What's that right there? You see that? That's coming up. That's coming up in one of the next few videos. We're going to be shooting that right there. And that is a bad mammer jammer. So stay tuned. Stay safe. God bless. Shoot straight. And we'll see you at the Dog Pound next time.